Welcome, all gunning to Old Trafford here. And wow, we're all the way in the States today with none other than Devin Walker. Wow. And our most fantastic and fun. The fans love this segment, Devin. Your all time Manchester United top 11. But before we get into that, Ibrahim, take us in.
Yep, guys, thank you again for joining. If you haven't already, please make sure that you watch our first segment with Devin, where he unpacks his love for Manchester United, and we get into some tricky questions around the Glazers and Tom Brady. Imagine that, Tom Brady and Manchester United, amazing stuff. But Devin, again, thank you for taking the time to join us. We know the time differences are out, but you made it work, so really appreciate that. Devin, you touched on it during the last segment, but there are rumors that either the Glazers or the new ownership that comes in need to modernize Old Trafford. But the rumors that are going around is that it's either going to be a revamp of Old Trafford that will cost close to £1 billion to get it up and running, increase capacity, modernize the stadium, and get it up to world-class standards. Or, and this is a really controversial take, breaking down Old Trafford and building an all-new stadium for Manchester United at a different location, close to £2 billion. Devin, your take, firstly, do you want to see Old Trafford renovated, or do you want to see a new stadium? And secondly, do you think any potential owners coming in might be put off with the amount of money that needs to be invested over and above the $6 billion that's quoted as the buying price for Manchester United?
First and foremost, Old Trafford has already been rebuilt. It's not the same Old Trafford that it was in the past. Don't forget that Old Trafford was bombed during, I believe it was World War II.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there was only one part of the ground that's still original to begin with. So this whole thing around being Old Trafford and all this whatnot, like, okay, this is iconic, you can't tear it down. It's already been rebuilt before. It can be rebuilt again. What you can do is keep that one last surviving part from the old ground, keep that and build around it. Keep the same pitch, build around it. I'm in the camp of sacrifice playing at Old Trafford for one season. Play at Wembley Stadium. Play the matches in London for one season. Rebuild it, make it state of the art, make it world class. Old Trafford is supposed to be known as like the premier ground, the premier club ground in the UK, if not the world. It was that at one point. It needs to get back to that point. So you can play at Wembley. We can also take that attendance record back from Spurs, because they obviously, when they were playing at Wembley, they got the attendance record. It should have been ours. We can get it back and get it from there, just to one up them. Old Trafford comes back after a season, and we have an absolutely incredible modern new ground. You can keep United Trinity statue. You can keep the tunnel that's between the dugouts, because that's the only remaining part of the old ground, and you can rebuild everything else to be state of the art. Because I can tell you from being there, it needs to be rebuilt. The concourse needs to be widened. It looks great on TV and everything else too. Roof is leaking. There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
I don't think too many fans will be happy with Manchester United games moving to London. But I do agree, Devin, that Manchester United Stadium, Old Trafford, is in really poor condition, and a revamp, complete revamp is required. I think what people are against is, breaking down Old Trafford and building a new stadium at a new location. So I think most fans will be happy that, if a few segments are kept, of the old stadium, and it's rebuilt on the same ground, I think most fans will be happy with that. And as long as they keep some of the history of the club. Abdul, another one, the injuries.
Devin, in the first segment, we spoke about the Manchester United squad depth, and that's going to be a bit of a problem this current season. We just heard a few days ago, Donny van der Beek out for the season. What's your take on that? And also, Devin, what's your take on the Jadon Sancho situation? I personally believe Erik ten Hag has been doing a sublime job, really still keeping motivated and stuff like that. But what's your take on those particular two players and the injuries at Manchester United currently?
I feel so bad for Donny van der Beek. he was starting. He hadn't played for a while. He was starting to get into a little bit of form, looked pretty decent. We know that he was trying to fight back for his place, and it's such a shame that it took a bad. It was a bad tackle, and it's just it just seems like he cannot catch a break. I wish him all the best in a speedy recovery.
Yep.
I wanted to see him get a legitimate chance before I figured out if it was time to move him on. It's I just feel so sorry for him right now, and all I can do right now is just hope that his recovery goes well. With the Jadon Sancho situation, obviously there's some mental issues going on there. I think there were a couple off the pitch incidents allegedly that occurred. So he needs to get his mind right. The weight of the United shirt is not for everybody. You have to remember he's only 22, I believe it is. He had the Euros, obviously the Euro heartbreak to come back, and whatever's going on outside of his life, it's not worked out well for him. I think it goes along with what I said earlier with Ten Hag. I trust Ten Hag. I trust Ten Hag to handle it. He has not given me a reason to doubt him yet, and until he does that, I'm going to continue to trust him fully. I look at the revamp of Marcus Rashford as an example.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You see the form that Rashford is in right now. I think he scored in 7 straight games now in all competitions.
8 goals in 7 matches.
Amazing. Wow, crazy.
So it's I trust in Ten Hag to get the best out of Sancho, or if not, at least give him all the tools needed. And if he can't do it on his own after that, then it's you cash in while you can. But I don't think it will get to that point.
No, brilliant stuff. And I think, to your point, Ten Hag is the coach that Manchester United needed for a very, very long time. And I think he's kind of fixing up all of the issues. And I read last week that he's also taken over the reserve team, overseeing the reserve team, so that he can feed players directly into the first team. And we haven't seen that since Sir Alex Ferguson. So this is really amazing.
What I love the most about that is that you have everybody from the first team down to the academy all playing the same style of football. So that now when they transition to the first team, if they can graduate from the academy and get to that, they already know how to play the system. It's not like they have to learn a whole brand new system. It makes it easier for them, makes it easier to slot in a next player if need be. So to me, that's another genius move as well.
Yeah, love it. And now, Abdul, that's amazing. But we get to the most important part, or the most fun part, and what people look out for is the all-time 11.
Yeah, the Gunning to Old Trafford community love it, Devin. And when we take out the black book, you need to know that this is the time. So yeah, all-time 11. Devin, we had a guest a few weeks ago, and myself and Ibrahim were going with a flat 4-4-2 and stuff, and this guy totally threw us off. So for your all-time Manchester United top 11, before we start and get into it, what formation is your team best suited playing?
So I have it playing a 4-4-2.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, I love it.
Straight stuff. Old school, man. Amazing stuff.
So Devin, what we're going to do
in the black pen.
The black pen. This is the
Martin
Odegaard. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, please, guys. Sorry. Sorry, I guess my Google Home must have heard me say something and started playing music.
Oh yeah.
yeah. First world problems, right?
Yeah, first world problems.
All right, sorry about that.
So Devin, this is when the black book is out and the pen, this is the conductor of the orchestra. This is Martin Odegaard's pen. You'd see me writing and locking it in just now, right? My hand's going to move like that. So yeah, so you're going with a 4-4-2. Ibrahim, anything else to add on that? And I can't wait.
So Devin, what we normally do is, obviously you choose your all-time 11. You get to choose 5 subs, so we make it a little bit easier on you, so it doesn't become too complicated when you need to pick between certain players. You can always push them onto the bench, and then your coach that will lead this team. I probably already guess who that is, but we leave that up to you. And then your thoughts on where your team would fare in the current Premier League season, or Champions League, or Europa League, whatever it is. So what we normally start off with is obviously the goalkeeper, and we work our way forward. So every pick, Devin, you give us your pick and maybe a quick blurb on the player and the reason for you choosing the player, and then we move on to the next player. So are you ready, Devin?
Yes, I am.
Abdul, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm
Perfect stuff.
excited.
So Devin, we're going to start off in the keeper department. Manchester United have been spoilt with many good keepers and some really poor ones over the last couple of years. Who would be your starting 11 goalkeeper for your Manchester United all-time 11?
Peter Schmeichel.
Oh, Peter
not
Schmeichel, the
even
great Dane.
What's there that has not already been said about Schmeichel? Yeah, the guy, an absolute legend, treble winning goalkeeper. Even scored for United at times as well too.
Yeah.
In fact, he was the last Dane to score for United before Christian Eriksen did it. So
Oh,
that's a
wow.
fun fact to say about that. Yeah, that's a United trivia question if you ever play a footy trivia on that. Yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely commanding presence. And he was, I think he was like a great link as well in the dressing room, especially when you had the class of 92 and a couple older ones for that link to keep everybody around, and just an all-around great leader. Absolutely phenomenal ambassador. Had the pleasure of meeting him before, and it was absolutely incredible to speak with him on that too.
Must be an absolute
Nice,
tank
man.
of a unit, huh?
Yeah, let me count this now. I want to see how many of my 11 I've met. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Yeah, 5.
I
Oh
love it.
my,
I
right.
love
Yeah.
it.
Devin, yes.
So Devin,
Yeah.
Peter Schmeichel, him joining City, doesn't put you off picking him in your all-time 11?
Absolutely not.
Love it.
Oh,
I love the
brilliant.
confidence
Yeah,
and the
Devin.
straightforwardness of
Absolutely
Devin.
not.
Love it,
I love
man.
it. Brilliant.
Because
Abdul?
in fact, I have another player in my side who played for City as well.
Ooh, I know who that is.
Okay.
But we'll leave it.
Okay,
We'll leave
okay.
it to summer. But
Okay. Next
Abdul,
up, Ibi, Devin. We have your centre back. So we like doing a centre back pairing. Because obviously, I mean, your centre back pairing play off one another, and you need a good partnership at the back and a rock solid foundation. Who would that be? And we're going to do it in a nice pairing. And remember,
Yeah,
you can play with it, Devin.
So
From
my
different
two
era.
center backs,
Yeah.
my two center backs are Jaap Stam and Nemanja Vidic.
Oh,
Stam
yes.
and Vidic.
Oh,
Love it.
man. Hard hitters.
Yeah.
Oh, I can already feel this team. This team's going to be, oh, man.
Devin
My
is just
only
going for
my
absolute
my
animals.
only concern with this now is
Red cards.
I'm gonna have a lot of bookings with this, and so there are gonna be a couple yellow card accumulations, suspensions, but I'll take it. I will take it.
Brilliant, brilliant
So
stuff,
I mean,
man.
Nemanja Vidic is obvious. It's an obvious pick, right? I mean, much has been said about Vidic, but for our younger fan base, Devin, maybe explain. Jaap Stam didn't play very long for Manchester United. Also didn't leave under the best circumstances with the coach. If you just give a little bit of a insight into Stam and the reason why you're picking him in your defense.
The best way I could say it right now, picture how hard Mr. Lisandro hits right now, players. Multiply that by about 3 and add in about another foot of height.
Love it.
I think that's a good way to
I think that's the best
describe Jaap
explanation.
Stam.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You're going to cut that little piece up. Wow,
Exactly.
man.
Amazing.
Sandro Martinez.
No, I love it. I love it. And I think for the younger fans, if you don't, go back and watch some of this from Stam. And I think, Sir Alex Ferguson done a lot great in his career at Manchester United, but he also admitted that one of his biggest regrets was letting Jaap Stam leave when he did. And Jaap Stam went on to have an amazing career away from Manchester United as well. So
Yes,
big up to
did.
having Stam in your squad.
Brilliant.
We're going to go on to the left back and we'll come to right back last because I think there's more competition on the left compared to the right. Your left back, sorry?
You think so?
I think so, personally. but let's see. I
Okay.
mean, do you want to go for the right first?
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious. Well, yeah. I'll do my left back first because to me, it was really between two people for the left back role, and to me, I went with Dennis Irwin.
Oh, yes. Oh, man.
Perfect pick.
So, and that's why it's like that's why you were saying you think right, like you were saying you thought there was a lot of competition. Like to me, it was between Irwin or Evra, and so I picked Irwin. Longevity, trophies won. And Evra was phenomenal. Do not take that away. Phenomenal. Yeah. Love the club. True servant of Manchester United. Legend in my mind. But it's just that Dennis Irwin was just on a whole nother level. And that's
and also a leader, right?
It is no slight to Evra at all.
Exactly. And I think Patrice Evra would actually tell you to go with Owen over Evra. That's the type of character that he is. I love his game, So
No,
okay,
definitely.
Devin, I mean you made it really easy on the left. Let's go to the right. I thought the right might be a simpler option, but
Yeah,
you seem to have different ideas. Let's see. Who's your
it's
right
Gary.
back for this?
It's Gary Neville. Gary Neville is a red. It's easy.
Really,
So remember, I was showing you before some old photos here when I had some people in my all-time
Oh
11.
yes. Look at Schmeichel. And Dennis
yeah.
Owen.
And Dennis Owen.
Oh,
Ooh.
brilliant.
But just to give you an idea how tall Schmeichel is,
But I
I'm
love
5'10".
But I love
I'm
how you
five foot
guys
ten.
positioned. I love how you guys positioned that photo to go in
Yeah.
in a nice
Sync.
slope, which is amazing.
In sync.
So you 5'10", and Schmeichel makes you look really, really short in that photo. So he's
That's
an
that's what I'm trying to
absolute
to give you an idea of just how tall he really is. Yeah, and
Wow.
he's wide, and he's wide.
He's
we
a big
absolute
boy.
we absolute shorties,
We
Devin.
shorties,
We
man.
5'6", so I
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
we'd look like really small in front of Peter Schmeichel. Okay, so Abdul,
Wow.
run us through that backline.
Oof. What a backline and what a foundation. Devin, Walker, wow. We've got Peter Schmeichel in the post. Our centre back pairing with Jaap Stam, none other than Nemanja Vidic. On the right back, we've got Gary Neville, and on the left, Dennis Owen. Fantastic free kick hitter as well.
Yes, brilliant.
Leader, he was amazing.
And also
On and off the
amazing
field.
penalty taker.
Oh,
eh?
yes.
I don't know if you've seen this, Devin, but before we move on to your midfield, Gary Neville, he came out last week and said when he went to play away at one of the stadiums, him, Scholes, and Phil Neville were training on one end, and the away fans started a chant. If the
If
Neville
the
can
Neville's
play
can play
England,
for England, so
So
can I.
everyone-
And Skull started joining in on it.
I love it.
Oh, man.
And I love that Neville appreciates that he's not, he doesn't tear the world apart as a right back, but he was the right back for the Ferguson era. And I think, probably unlocked a lot of potential from the guys that played in front of you. So, Devin, now that we've got your keeper and your backline sorted out, we're going to start off in your midfield. And similarly, because you've gone for a flat 4-4-2, that like your centre back partnership is important, as we build the spine, it's really, really important that you have a good understanding in midfield. So you've got your midfield dynamo, but you've also got your general that can, look after the rest of the game. Who's your midfield partnership? And I think this is going to be a tough one because there's so many options to pick from.
This one was probably some of the hardest decisions for my spine. You also have to pay homage to past and present because this is all time. It cannot just be Premier League. So with that being said, this one's going to seem a little tricky because this guy is more known from when he played as a forward, but he also played as a midfielder as well too. So I have Sir Bobby Charlton and Paul Scholes.
Oh, Sir Bobby and Paul Scholes.
Wow.
What a partnership. Oh, I loved it. And I've never seen that combination before. I've seen people bring in Keane with Sir Bobby, and Brian Robson and Paul Scholes, but I've never seen a Sir Bobby and Paul Scholes partnership. Just explain that a little bit and why you went for those two as a partnership.
Well, I mean, when you put it this way, everybody knows Scholes' nickname, Sat Nav Scholes. He put the ball right on a pin for you. It kind of works out well with our back line because we all know he can't tackle. So when he screws up that tackle as well, you got two hard hitters behind. So it gives him a little bit more room to actually operate and distribute the ball out. When you have Xavi and Iniesta right off the bat, saying like at La Masia and Barcelona's academy, saying these were the guys that they were told to idolize. Like Scholes to me was, I mean, yeah, it was he was somebody that was one of the first names on my sheet.
Oh, definitely.
He's also another one of the players. I can show you a photo of him and I if you want as well too.
Oh, I love it. You need to send us all of these photos.
Yes, I definitely will put him in the WhatsApp afterwards.
Devin, currently you've met so far in your top 11, Peter Schmeichel, Dennis Owen, Paul Scholes. You said you met 5. That's 3.
Yeah.
So two more still incoming. Okay, can't wait.
2 incoming.
2 more incoming. Amazing.
Brilliant stuff. And I think, Devin, one of the Liverpool, so we've got a co-host that comes on that talks about FPL on our show. but he's a massive Liverpool fan.
Mhm.
And we were going to have a debate around Scholes versus Gerrard because they're
Uh-huh.
absolute legends. And I respect Gerrard, So I'm definitely going to drop you a pin when that discussion happens because I think I'd rather put you on him than try
definitely.
to handle it myself.
Oh, this will be fun. This will be fun.
Yeah, awesome
That'd be
stuff.
amazing.
So we've got our midfield partnership sorted out.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the right midfielder or your right winger that plays in front of Gary Neville and is responsible. So again, and what I love is that Manchester United are spoiled for choices when it comes to these partnerships and these positions. Who's your right midfield? Because some people are going to have to miss out. Yeah,
I've got a feeling.
Yeah, some people are gonna have to miss out. I know everyone's looking at the shirt and thinking like, all right, that could be the feeling. But
yes,
Man.
And-
Oh man. Brilliant.
And Devin just explained to the fans. Apart from that, just being a poster of the great George Best, Devin, just give us a little bit insight on that photo.
so Georgie Best, where to begin? You speak to any United fan, like especially any elder United fan, you ask who was the best player they ever saw grace Old Trafford. Majority of the time, you're going to hear George Best.
100%.
It even got to the point where there was a saying. The first two you can change the order however you want. Pele good, Maradona better, George Best.
I love it.
Think of like when you see all the players with the skill moves that they're doing and everything right now. George Best was doing at a time when the pitches were not in the best condition, when you could foul and you weren't called and everything, and he was still just going around people. And his quotes are absolutely legendary. Oh God, where do I even begin with George Best? Where he said like in some year, like in the 1960s, he gave up booze, fast cars, and women. And he said it was the worst 30 minutes of his life. Yeah. Or he said he didn't know what was harder, dribbling past 5 players and scoring from 30 yards out of Anfield or shagging Miss World. Thankfully, I've done both. Like, yes, like when you think of like the confidence, and he could back it up.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it was unfortunately he died way too soon.
Yeah.
Drinking got the best of him, but man, when he was on his game, what a player. And I tell anybody, if you truly love United, go watch some documentaries on George Best.
100%.
Just
And
go
the
watch it.
rockstar footballer.
That you did. Yes, George Best, man, what an absolute legend. Like when I tell people that signed poster is probably my prized United possession, I'm not kidding around with that.
And guys, did you hear that? And that's what I was trying to get out from Devin early on, but he was being really modest. That poster is not just a poster of George Best, it's an actual signed poster from the great George Best himself. So prize possession. So Devin, when we come out and you're hosting us in Florida, make sure you keep me very far away from there, because when I leave, it will probably be in my luggage. So so we've got our center midfield partnership. We've got Paul Scholes, the ginger dynamite in the middle, Satnav Scholes. We've got Bobby Charlton in the middle, and we've got Sir Bobby in the middle, and we've got George Best on the right. The left midfield position. Now that we've got Georgie Best playing on the right, again, a few guys that are going to have to lose out because they could have played on either side. Who are you going with to finish up your entire midfield partnership to support your attackers?
Ryan Giggs running down the wing.
Brilliant, man.
And that's number 4. And that's number 4 for people I've met.
Is that number 4? I'm ticking that one off. Number 4.
Ryan
man. What a player.
I haven't met him personally, but I had the honor of watching him play in South Africa. And absolutely majestic.
Brilliant.
Absolutely majestic. It's like he floats on the grass. I mean, something else. And because we've got Abdullah,
broke our hearts,
Devin, that goal where we saw how much chest hair Ryan Giggs has. I mean, what a moment.
They broke the Arsenal fan. He hit it in the roof of the net.
We still thank VR for giving the ball away to this day.
Yes, he did. So true. But what a goal, a solo goal. It was absolutely amazing. I remember, I'll never forget that night. It was a night. It was an FA Cup,
afternoon.
Yes, it was an FA Cup replay. It was an FA Cup replay at Villa Park.
Devin,
at Villa Park, yes.
I was with my neighbors, and they were all Manchester United supporters. And I don't think I cried as much as that night because these guys were all over me, man. So yeah, man, brilliant stuff. Good
Brilliant
memories,
stuff.
man. Ryan Giggs.
Any one memory that comes to mind for you apart from that moment of Ryan Giggs?
Oh God, let me see now. It would have to be when he became the all-time appearance holder,
Oh,
which I think which was in Moscow, if I remember correct, the same night, and just
brilliant
stepping
stuff.
up for just
Yes.
yeah, it was just absolutely yeah, it's just like to play that long to have 13 Premier League medals. I remember like he scored in every single Premier League season except for his last season. And
Wow.
like to me that was that was spanning 22 seasons, something like that. So
Ridiculous.
it's absolutely unheard of. Yeah.
And I love how United signed him. You know, he was probably on his way to Man City as a youngster,
I think he was in their academy. I think he
yeah,
was in their academy for a while.
or he might have been. And Sir Alex said, no,
Yeah.
a youngster of his ilk can't be playing for City.
And
Went
because
overseas,
Brought him
played for
he had a
City.
different name back then. He was Ryan Wilson back then.
Ryan
Ryan
Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Wow, man.
Brilliant stuff. So,
Shoo.
Abdul, run us through that midfield
Can I
again.
run it through? So wow, our in Devin, what a midfield. We have Sir Bobby Charlton. Next to him, our midfielder dynamo, Paul Scholes. On the right side of midfield, winger. Oh, wow. I was watching a documentary, and you know how this documentary starts of George Best, Devin. George Best was a diamond. And that's the intro. And then it starts. So amazing. So we got George Best on the right, and none other than Ryan Giggs running down the left side of midfield. So wow, what
Amazing.
a midfield.
Amazing stuff. That's a formidable team, and
Yeah.
I'm scared. I would, as an opponent, I would be scared to get onto the field with those guys.
Already.
Devin, up front, your striking partners. So you've gone for a two-striker partnership. You know, we don't see that really often. We normally now see a 4-2-3-1 where you have a lone striker, but I was always a fan of a two-striker partnership. Abdul and I played football.
Yeah.
He was the midfield dynamo. I was a striker up front. And I just loved having my cousin actually playing next to me.
Yeah.
And it was amazing stuff,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
having that relationship. So who are your two strikers that play up front and why?
So one of them will be number 5, who I've met. And the other one, can you figure out who signed this? I mentioned it earlier.
You mentioned it earlier. I'm going to have to run it back. Do you remember?
Which one? The Sir Med Busby.
The Sir Med
This
Busby.
Eric Cantona? This
No,
one,
no, 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 no,
George
no,
Best?
no, 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 no. This right here.
Was he Cristiano
No,
Ronaldo?
Brian Robson, you said, right?
Brian Rob?
No,
No.
no, 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 no.
Oh, what's going on?
Ooh.
How did we miss it?
I will give you a clue.
Oh, yes, give us a clue.
He is the only person who has 2 statues at Old Trafford.
The only person who has 2 statues at Old Trafford. Dennis Law. Can only be
Yes.
Dennis Law.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Dennis Law. Oh, yes.
Devin, you bring out the big boys. You want to Bamba? I don't know if you guys got it. So you bring the big boys. Wow.
Devin, you
Want to
fitted the
Bamba?
entire.
You want a G with the big boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Devin, you've got that entire trinity in your team. You've got Georgie Best on the right, Sir Bobby in the middle, and Dennis Law up front. What a trinity.
Yes, sir.
Love it.
Brilliant, man.
I mean, he speaks for himself, right? Dennis, and like you said, you know, when you spoke about Cristiano Ronaldo in the last segment, the only 3 other Manchester United players to go away with the Ballon d'Or are the United Trinity, and they did it 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Dennis Law,
Wow.
Bobby Charlton, and George Best. 3 years in a row,
Wow.
and Cristiano Ronaldo is in esteemed presence. So brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. So you've got Dennis Law up front. Who is the strike partner of Dennis Law?
You're number 5.
A lot of people are going to miss out.
I'll just pull up the picture for this one.
Oh, I love it.
And I just got to search for it.
But we give a drum
Drum
roll.
roll.
But
Okay.
yeah, what a player he was, man.
Let's give it.
Another drum roll.
No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure at all, right? Just trying to go through all my photos. All right, I will just give you a clue right now, but it's going to give it away. He is United's all-time goal scorer.
Waza. Waza.
Wayne Rooney.
Love it. Oh,
Scheiße.
that's
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
Have you been?
Yes.
I mean, that's now while he's coaching at DC United, or was that when he was
That
playing?
that's while he was a player there.
Okay,
Okay.
So that was about 3 or 4 years ago, I think.
brilliant.
And Devin, if I may ask, how far is DC United from where you stay? If I may,
So they're in Washington, DC.
Washington.
About a 2.5 hour plane ride, I would say.
Okay. Not bad.
Perfect.
Not
Yeah,
bad. Wow.
I would not drive it, but because it's probably like a 16-hour drive, I would say.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, similar from Johannesburg to
To
Cape Town.
Town.
Just a
Okay.
little bit
Okay.
longer.
Brilliant stuff, man.
Brilliant. So that's an
Wow.
amazing team. Because of time, I don't think we'll run through it right now, but we'll get to it at the end. Devin, we're going to go straight into your 5 subs. A lot of players missed out on the top 11, but maybe make space for your 5 subs. So starting from the keeper upwards, your one keeper, one defender, 2 midfielders, and probably a striker, but you can mix it up. 5 subs.
Do you want me to just read them off since we're pressed for time, or do you
Yes,
want to go
you
one by
can. You
one?
can.
Okay, so I've got Van der Sar, Brian Robson, Rio Ferdinand, Eric Cantona, Roy Keane.
Oh yes, I was hoping Keane made it, but two big omissions, and I think this might need some explaining because the guys you got on the bench definitely don't need any explaining. But both played on the right for Manchester United. Obviously, Ronaldo played
Yes,
across, but
yes, yes, I
Ronaldo
know.
and David Beckham.
David Beckham.
So
Any-
I actually and I debated long about this one. This was tough. Who could I take out of those right now to fit one of those players in? Because you look in that squad right now, like you need a backup keeper. Like
Yep.
that goes
Yep.
without saying. Robbo and Keane,
You need them.
absolute phenomenal players and captains in that leadership as well coming from there.
And can play anywhere you need them to play.
Yeah, you need Rio. I need a defender in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And there is no way I'm leaving off the King.
Exactly. Oh man.
So,
Amazing.
and that's all that it came down to. I ask anybody right now who wants to disagree with my changes in there, which of my 5 players would you take out to fit in any of those 2, and why?
And you wouldn't be able to.
No, you can't.
But like I always say, this is your 11.
Uh-huh.
So
Again,
it's
and
your players.
this is my opinion. This is my 11.
Exactly.
But I would just love somebody to give me a reason to change my mind.
It's not gonna be me.
And that's the best part about it is it is my opinion. I just want somebody to give me a legitimate reason to take any player out of my side,
No,
or
you
my
can't.
or my 5 subs, and you tell me where you can fit in any of those 2 players.
So going to Old Trafford, this is a challenge to the community. If you feel like you'd want to debate this with Devin, slide tackle into our DMs or drop into the comments, let us know, and we'll make it happen so that you guys can have the debate. Because Devin has put an open challenge to anybody.
But I personally, wow. I'm mind boggled here.
Devin, because we pressed for time, we're going to run into. I mean, by the way, that's an amazing team, Devin. Who coaches this team? There's 2 memorable managers that pop out, but based on the players that you chose, I think there's only one that can really lead this team forward. But who's your coach that takes this team into battle?
See if you can see it.
Oh man, you met Sir Alex Ferguson.
Brilliant.
Sir
Brilliant.
Alex Ferguson.
And it's a very young Dean. Devin.
Devin.
Oh, like I laugh right now because it's like I don't really get starstruck that often as much, but I look at this photo and I like there's no hiding it because to me, like especially like from being I was so young when I met him, and to me it was like that is the closest that I'll get to meeting God in this life.
Oh man.
That to me is like, oh my God, like I met him, like you're the reason for like my everything, all my drive, my motivation. It's all from you. Like oh my God, thank you.
Brilliant stuff.
So like, yeah, and I love it. Like I'm eyes beaming, like there's no soft smile, like trying to look nice. Like, oh no, I'm like a deer in headlights on that photo.
We definitely need to hook up a discussion between Devin and Dr. Berry.
No, you have
because
to.
I think that is going to be an amazing,
Wow.
amazing experience.
Man.
I'm definitely going to send you these photos as well, so you can put them in as well too.
No, we
Brilliant.
was
But
definitely.
Devin, we're going to talk on WhatsApp, and I'll just give you some insight on Dr. Berry. You will love to speak to
Yeah.
this guy. He's a
Yes.
walking Manchester United encyclopedia. Amazing stuff. Devin, Sir Alex was a definite choice.
Mhm.
Where does this team finish in the current Premier League season?
I think this could compete pretty much almost at any level.
Yep.
Like you name the season right now. I'm just thinking of Scholesy and Sir Bobby midfield. The only midfield that I can think that would probably be able to compete with that was Barcelona's with Xavi and Iniesta. Because that to me was, if not the best club midfield of all time, it was definitely the best that I ever saw.
Mhm.
No, brilliant stuff. But
So
I think a Scholes,
credit to that. Right?
but I think a Scholes and Sir Bobby Charlton midfield partnership with Roy Keane or Brian Robson ready to come in if any of them get injured.
It's crazy.
I don't see many midfielders dealing with it. Many midfield teams dealing
Well,
with it.
the only issue now is at some point in the season, one of my two center backs is going to get sent off. But then,
Yes.
but then I've got Rio Ferdinand in waiting, so it's like, all
Yeah,
right,
exactly. So you should be good.
Amazing.
Love it.
Absolutely amazing team, Devin. I'm going to quickly run through it. Is that okay? Quick.
Let's just
That's
see.
I don't
perfectly
have
fine.
time.
Yeah, we've got
Okay,
time. Just run through it quickly.
So we've got Peter Schmeichel in the post, our two centre back partnership, Jaap Stam, Nemanja Vidic, right back, Gary Neville, left back, Dennis Owen. In the centre of the park, Sir Bobby Charlton, Paul Scholes. Right side of midfield, none other than the best, George Best. On the left, Ryan Giggs. And our two strikers up front, Dennis Law and Wayne Rooney. Absolutely amazing. Sir Alex Ferguson manages this team, and your five guys on the bench: Van der Sar, Rio Ferdinand, Roy Keane, Eric Cantona, and none other than Brian Robson.
Majestic. What a team.
Absolutely amazing.
And I love the combinations that you hit,
Yeah.
because I've never seen a Law Rooney partnership. I haven't seen a Scholes Charlton partnership. This is amazing stuff. Really loved it. Really enjoyed it, Devin. And hope you join us for many more of these
Yes,
sessions.
it was amazing, man.
Really
Yes,
fun.
thank you so much for having me on. Thank you.
No, awesome stuff. Abdul.
Guys, wow, that was absolutely amazing. Education. We were up in the States, Devin. Thank you so much for your time. Guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, hit that bell notification. You can get us on all the socials. Devin, I hope this is not the last, and I know it's not going to be the last. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. Your parting words, Ibrahim, your parting words.
No, I think let's
Brilliant.
Devin, any last
Go for it,
words?
Evie.
So one thing I always say, even when I'm doing my YouTube shows as well, I always leave on, we'll keep the red flag flying high, because Man United will never die.
Oh, yes, love it.
beautiful, man.
Love
Beautiful.
it. And with
Wow.
that, guys, on 3, Devin, you're going to join us as usual. 3, 2, 1.
We are
Coming to
running
Old
to
Trafford.
to Old Trafford. Yes.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you,
Really
Devin. All
appreciate
the
it.
best,
Thanks,
man.
guys. Bye-bye.